he expressed to her numerous times throughout his stay that he wanted to kill himself.
In the months leading up to the events of January 2023 at the hospital, she developed symptoms of depression, likely triggered by her husband's terminal illness.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun right now! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
How do you plead? No contest.
An elderly woman shoots and kills her husband as part of a suicide pact, but she couldn't finish the job when it was time to turn the gun on herself. Ellen Gilland is in court this morning for her sentencing. Plus, a deadly road rage shooting in Florida caught on camera. We've got reaction to the horrific footage that led to the death of a single mom. Plus, this hour, we're being a voice for victims for 19-year-old Sade Robinson. We're asking the question, will her family ever get closure? And we've got brand new video of former Sheriff Mickey Stines moments before and after the shooting of Judge Kevin Mullins. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. Good Friday morning to you and welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. Are you ready for some coffee and some court? That's what we do on this show every weekday morning, and we're so glad that you're here for it. Grab that cup of coffee right now. It's time for my opening statement. Sometimes for a defendant, having to live with himself and the crime that they committed is more torturous than imprisonment. And I think that is the case for 76-year-old Ellen Gilland. She's going to be in court this morning to learn her sentence for shooting and killing her terminally ill husband, Jerry. The two of them had made a suicide pact. She would assist him in his death in the hospital, and then she would turn the gun on herself. It was essentially Jerry's last wish that they would die together. But Ellen couldn't bring herself to shoot herself after she killed Jerry. So instead, she put the hospital staff and the police in great danger, and she caused a standoff. Now, she's a felon. She's without Jerry, and she didn't fulfill her promise to him of them dying together. Instead, she may now die alone in prison. You know, this case is beyond sad. And perhaps the judge will show Ellen Gilland some mercy. The prosecutors already have. They've reduced her charges and they've waived the mandatory minimum sentence. But she could still be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison. And for Ellen Gilland, I don't think that prison time will punish her more than the separation from her husband and living with how she failed to carry out his dying wish. Let me be clear, I am in no way defending her actions. What she did was against the law. All I'm saying is that no matter what her sentence is today, I don't think it'll hit even close to as hard as the sadness that she's been feeling and will continue to feel since taking her husband's life. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, I want to give you your daily docket.
So I talked about Marrakesh, which is owned by one of my friends. It's got belly dancing and Mediterranean food. But I said it was kind of expensive, and she said, don't worry, I got money, I'll take care of everything.
We've got the state's case continuing today in the celebrity hairstylist murder trial. Hitman Christopher Austin expected to take the stand today. That should get really interesting. Court's going to start there at noon. In Florida, we have OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny back in court. She's going to be there at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And in Utah, Jennifer Gledhill has a pretrial hearing. She's accused of killing her National Guardsman husband, Matthew. That's going to start up at 3 p.m. today. Now, let's turn to your top stories. First, 76-year-old Ellen Gilland in court in less than an hour from now for her sentencing. You might remember she pleaded no contest to charges of manslaughter with a firearm and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun right now! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. I don't want to hurt you. We don't want to hurt you. Tell me what's going on. Just talk to me.
Now, we expect to hear some very emotional testimony from family members today, and we expect to learn more about Jerry's medical condition and his mental health condition. The hearing is going to start up at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to take you there live. Now, let's talk about what kind of mercy the court may be showing Ellen Gilland and why. She's looking at up to 10 years. The cap is now 10 years, so it could be anywhere from probation to imprisonment for her. Let's bring in our attorney guests now. Attorneys Jennifer Brandt and Mario Gallucci are with us today. Good morning. Wonderful to see you both. Jennifer, let me start with you, please. What kind of a sentence do you think the court may give Ms. Gilland?
Well, they can give her up to 10 years, but honestly, I think it's going to be much less than that, but possibly more than probation, just because there was a standoff at the hospital for, I believe it was like 3 hours, and she put the staff in danger. She put the police in danger. She killed her husband. And while she is, you know, you look at her, you definitely feel sorry for her. She's older. She walks with a walker. I mean, you know, how can you not feel sad for her? But on the other hand, as a matter of a deterrent, you just don't want people going into hospitals with firearms and causing this kind of chaos. So I think from that perspective, the court needs to do something more than just probation.
Right, right, Jennifer. Thank you. Mario, to you next, please. Your thoughts on what the court may do.
So I agree with Jennifer. I mean, euthanasia is actually legal in 3 states here in this country. I believe it's California, Oregon, and I don't remember the last. But even under a euthanasia scenario, this is not the way it would go on. You can't bring a firearm into a hospital and then have a 3-hour standoff. So there is going to be some penalty here. I agree with Jennifer that I think it's going to be more than probation. I think it's going to be certainly much less than 10 years. And that's why the prosecutor in the case agreed to waive the mandatory sentence in this case. It's a sad case. It's very sad. These cases are always, you know, it's troubling.
Right, it really is, Mario. You know, you look at it and you think, oh my gosh, it's like she's victimized herself. I mean, this wasn't the plan. It was illegal. Yes, it was. And great point, Mario, that it is legal in some states to have an assisted death. And this case, as you both know, has spawned a lot of conversation about, gosh, if it were something on the books where they were living, then perhaps there would have been no gun and no scenario like that was so dangerous. I want to talk about how her mental health is going to play into this. I have a clip from when a psychiatrist testified way back when at her initial hearing when they were requesting bond for her. Let's take a listen to some of what was shared.
In the months leading up to the events of January 2023 at the hospital, she developed symptoms of depression, likely triggered by her husband's terminal illness, worsening condition, was depressed, felt hopeless, and contemplated suicide. This was a first lifetime episode of a major depressive disorder. No previous such episodes triggered by the emotional stress over her husband's decline. So this essentially was the first time she suffered from any acute psychiatric illness in her 76 years of life.
Jennifer, do you think we're going to see mental health come back to the forefront of the sentencing hearing today?
I mean, it's one of the factors, and I think for sure they're going to talk about that, as well as her physical infirmities. I mean, if you look at her, she looks like she has some physical ailments as well as perhaps mental infirmities. So I think all of this plays a part. Her age, I mean, and you said, you know, family members will be testifying. So I think people have a lot of sympathy for her, but yet, again, you cannot just clearly dismiss what she did. I mean, it was a criminal act. So I think we do have to keep that in mind, as hard as it is when you look at her and hear her story. It is incredibly sad.
Exactly. This sentencing is going to happen this morning in our 9 a.m. hour, so we're going to go there live as soon as it starts. And there is another Florida sentencing we're looking ahead to for now convicted killer Jermaine Bass. So we want to talk about that. Take a look.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1, murder in the first degree. The defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree, Jayla Bass, as charged.
Now, a jury found Jermaine Bass guilty of all counts brought against him in the trial that we started calling the bedtime murder trial, because it was all about his kids being tucked in, kissed goodnight, and then shot. His beautiful daughter, Jayla, on the right, they're 5 years old, shot to death. Her brother survived, but is dealing with major difficulties. Still has that bullet lodged in his head. The son is now 10 years old. The death penalty was what prosecutors were seeking against Mr. Bass. They withdrew it about a month ago. Now he's looking at life in prison, potentially without the possibility of parole when he's sentenced on Monday. Let's talk about the verdict, reactions, and some of what was just kind of strange during the trial, namely not hearing from the mother of these children. Mario, let me start with you, please, for your reactions to the conviction and then the trial overall. If there were any missed opportunities, just I would love to know how you would have tried this case as a defense attorney.
I would have blamed the wife, but that's what I would have done. I've done it before. This is just wow. Wow, this guy is saying that he's unloading his gun and it discharged and it killed one child and basically maimed the other. So it was a very, very difficult defense case. This is the type of case that you need to get very creative. I would have gotten very creative with this case. This is the type of case I came home and I found my children, shot, and my wife was gone because we do know she was out. So this is, it's wow. And sad, very sad. As a defense attorney, when you come into a case like this, when you come into any case, you're always up against the 8 ball. But when you're dealing with the horrific death of a child, it makes it even worse. Much worse.
You're so right, Mario. We can all agree. Those precious babies were put in a situation no one should ever be put in. They should be both alive and well today. That was just horrific. And I appreciate what you said, too, about the defense strategy. I saw a lot of missed opportunities from this defense team. I didn't think that this was a slam dunk for them at all, especially with the wife's refusal to cooperate with the investigation, not testifying. We all found that a bit strange. I'm not saying that she did it. I think the right result was reached, most certainly. But there may have been some advocacy opportunities that you would have seized, Mario Gallucci. Jennifer Brandt, I want to ask you, please, for your reaction to this case, in anything you saw with the trial advocacy that you picked up on that you liked, didn't like, anything that maybe jumped out at you with this one?
Well, I mean, I just think this is you just wonder what was in his mind. I mean, what happened that went so wrong that, someone shoots these 2 precious children? Was he angry? Was he upset? But nothing would justify those types of actions, So I think that is the most troubling aspect of this case. I think we all saw it coming, that it was going to be this result. I mean, I think it is the right result. I know there was some discussion about the son, that he got out of bed, and maybe some, thought that maybe somehow this was an accidental shooting, but, apparently not. And it's tragic all around. But I think, we got the right result. But, nothing's going to bring this precious little girl back. So it's just awful.
Right, Jennifer. And you picked up on something so key. Thank you for that. The son's DNA was on that gun. And so there was an opportunity there, I think, somewhat missed by defense counsel in exploring that further. We heard about it in opening statements, but we didn't really see any evidence presented that might have tipped the scales of justice for that jury. Wow. Our hearts go out to those kids, the little boy and his continued recovery, in beautiful Jayla. May she rest in peace. Mario Gallucci, Jennifer Brandt, I'm so glad we have you both on the program this morning. Stand by kindly for more questions. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, here's what we have coming up on opening statements.
Maybe we're almost to the jail. One last time. Is there anything to do with your family?
Brand new video we're going to show you of Sheriff Mickey Stines both before and after the shooting of his former friend, Judge Kevin Mullins. But first, a road rage incident in Florida turns deadly, and it was all caught on camera. We'll be right back.
emergency.
Can you get someone over here now?
Well, okay, what does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record.
They were broken up, and he was still madly in love with her.
He didn't think that he was a batterer. I said, hey, man, you hit her. You're a batterer.
This is a murder case. They felt it had nothing to do with the murders.
Trial and Error. Why did O.J. win? A Court TV original series. New episode Sunday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on Court TV.
Really could have been a pimp. The way that she tricking and give me a charge back. Look, it ain't sweet in the street. Gotta be. Really should come with a hard head. Arguing on cameras ain't called for. What? No, I come through. I can turn your little man in the back here. I'm still over in the hot air.
Hip-hop star Lil Baby is set to begin his world tour in June, but he could be headed for a detour after a police press conference earlier this week. This is what's trending in true crime this morning. The popular rapper's finding himself at the center of a homicide investigation after police claim that Lil Baby's cowardly actions led to the death of 2 teenagers. Lil Baby's real name is Dominique Jones, and he was named in an arrest warrant in connection with the fatal shootings of Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman. Now, both of the 13-year-olds were killed in July of 2024 during a birthday party for Freeman. Now, police believe that the boys' shooting was part of a gang war, which started with a shooting at the rapper's video filming in May of 2024. Now, we're asking the question, can Lil Baby be held liable without confirming his involvement in the shootings? Let's talk about this. I want to bring back in our attorney guests still with me, attorneys Jennifer Brandt and Mario Gallucci, and want to welcome in private investigator Manuel Gomez, served in our military, served with the NYPD. Before we really get into the legal part of this, and can he be civilly liable for this or dragged into criminal court for anything that allegedly happened, let's talk about what's at the heart of this. A gang turf war, it seems, on the streets where Lil Baby is shooting somewhere that police say was going to be known to cause uproar and known to cause problems. So he goes there, he films his video. People all over the world love it, but yet at home in Atlanta, it's a problem. And now 2 young men are dead. Manuel Gomez, I want to start with you. Your thoughts on this, please.
Well, unfortunately, Julie, this is a systemic problem that happens when these rap videos, they glorify drugs, gang violence, weapons. Even in his video, you see Lil Baby holding stacks and stacks of money, which was gained from criminal activity. And he raps about this. This is something that happens all the time. I mean, one of the most famous cases, Tupac and Biggie Smalls, same thing. These type of gang violence and gang glorification in our music videos is sending the wrong messages, and too many innocent people are being killed. And unfortunately, this is not going to stop. I mean, look, we just saw it the other day with Rihanna's husband. So again, this is something that's going to continue until the industry demands change.
Right. Great points. And, you know, with Rihanna's partner, A$AP Rocky, he's going to be facing a civil suit. That's the next step for him. And so when I saw this news about Lil Baby, and I want to be very clear, he has not been charged. He has not been sued. But, of course, you know, the lawyer in me wonders, is anything coming? Mario Gallucci, let me go to you next, please. Your thoughts on all this?
So I would love to represent Lil Baby if he was charged with this. How could you possibly charge somebody for a murder because he filmed a video in a rival neighborhood? Just because you entered into who tells you, this is the United States of America. Nobody could tell you where you can and can't go. If he decided to record this rap video and it aggravated a rival gang, how's that his fault that it led to the death of these 2 individuals? He didn't have a gun. There's no allegation that he conspired with these people to have this shooting occur. But, you know, we do see this every day. I just tried a case in New York where they were going to do a robbery of a recording studio because they believed that there was a rival rapper coming there who was going to wear jewelry. And we ended up with a death there. So I agree that this is a culture that's just getting out of control. We're seeing it more and more every day. But a little baby can't be charged with murder. I can't even see him charged with a conspiracy here.
Mario, I hope he calls you. He should call you. He should have a lawyer right now, a fantastic criminal defense attorney, and that you certainly are, Mario, to represent him on this. Because even just with this warrant, you know, being the affidavit becoming public, of course, all the media is digging in. Local media saw it, it blew up. National media looking at it. People are talking. And so he should have somebody protecting his interests. Last but not least, Jennifer Brandt, I want to get your thoughts on Lil Baby.
Well, I agree with Mario. I mean, I don't think there's any criminal liability here, but from a civil standpoint, which is what you brought up, I mean, he's probably the one out of all of these people that has the most money and has the deep pockets. So from a civil point of view, you know, if a family is looking to sue, they're probably wanting to go after him because, I mean, he has notoriety, fame, you know, he has a big tour coming up and clearly shows a lot of money in his videos. So, I mean, it seems that he has the ability to compensate, although, you know, the death can never be compensated, but to pay some damages here. It's just a question of, you know, can you draw the connection that he really started this chain of events that caused the death of these two young teens?
And Jennifer, you hit the nail on the head, the connection. Is it far too attenuated, right? Is there any connection here? And yes, I love what you said about, you know, the money. People know he has deep pockets, right? Gonna go for those deep pockets. You know, he's a prime candidate, unfortunately for him, and people see him and those, you know, gorgeous chains he wears. I was telling my colleagues, I'm pretty sure I saw him not too long ago at a public event, and I noticed the chain. The chain was what, you know, I'd seen Instagram pictures of him, like, oh, that's him. All right.
I think those are real diamonds.
Oh, yeah,
they're real.
In person, I mean, my eyes were like that star emoji, you know, on the cell phone. Wow, looking at that bling. Oh my goodness. All right, so Lil Baby, not charged, would be very clear, and hopefully he calls Mario. Let's turn to our other trending piece of news. This is so awful. We want to show you all some video. So there was a road rage incident in Florida, caught on camera. It claimed the life of a single mom who was celebrating her 48th birthday. Take a look. You see the witness reacting there. Georgianne Garner died as a result of what investigators say was a point-blank range shooting while at a red light in Panama City. Her 19-year-old daughter was shot in the chest. She is critical this morning. Jubal Simmons and Ivy Bella Encino have both been charged in Garner's murder. And we're asking this morning, what's your reaction when you see this stunning video? Because we know this is going to come into court if those two go to trial. My goodness. Hear the witness's reaction to all that, to getting upset at a red light. Manuel Gomez, would you start us off, please?
Well, I mean, this video and this incident is a perfect reason why Florida has a stand your ground law. Just protect yourself. This is something that happens, unfortunately, all the time over here. And I'm actually over here now on a murder case. And, you know, Florida has this law to ensure that you're able to stand up against this type of violence. Unfortunately, this mother was not prepared and didn't see it coming. But when you're out here, it's the Wild West. You must be prepared. You must realize that I would say more than 90% of the people in Florida are carrying, if not legally or illegally. But again, that's why this law is here. And this is a perfect example of why you need to be aware of your surroundings and protect yourself and stand your ground.
This is just a horrible video. Manuel, thank you. Mario, your reaction when you see that video?
You know, we just discussed the hip-hop wars, and this is becoming a trend also. These road rage encounters are getting deadly. We saw one about 2 weeks ago. We saw this one. But, you know, people just need to calm down. You got cut off. So who cares? Let them pass you. Move on. I don't understand why we need to shoot somebody because they cut you off. That's all that happened here. It's very sad and troubling to me that this has become an all too often occurrence in our country, that people get so upset on the roads. They need to make, you take your road test when, I don't know, it depends on your state, but part of that now should be talking about road rage and how you could just ignore what people are doing.
Right, Mario. It makes me, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, and Jennifer, I want to go to you for how you feel about this video. It makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to honk my horn when I get upset driving, because I'm so terrified of what some maniac, is going to do because they get offended at horn blowing, at, stopping too soon, cutting off. It's terrible. Jen, your thoughts on this video that's going to be such a key piece of case evidence?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, you cannot react at all on the road. You have to be calm, no matter how much of a rush you're in or where you think you're going to go. People like this are out there carrying guns, have no patience, and you just have to relax. Don't hit your horn and just let them go, like Mario said.
Right.
Don't even bother.
Exactly. Keep moving. Head straight ahead, hands on the wheel. Yes, mind your own business, right? Great discussion with you all, and you're all coming with us as we continue here on Opening Statements. Stand by. We're going to hit a break. When we return, we're spotlighting the murder investigation of beautiful Sade Robinson. Her alleged killer is set to go to trial in just a few months from now. But will her family ever get closure in finding her body? And former Sheriff Mickey Stines caught on camera moments after he allegedly shot and killed his good friend, Judge Kevin Mullins. In this video, you'll see him walking out cool as a cucumber. We'll be right back.
I'm debt-free.
Welcome back. This morning, we're giving a voice to victims for Sade Robinson. Her mother's fighting for justice and calling for a statewide task force for missing and murdered Black women. The man accused of murdering 19-year-old Sade is scheduled for trial in May. This is the accused man right here, and it's believed that all of her remains still have not been recovered. She was dismembered. Robinson last seen alive on a dinner date in Milwaukee. And this is some surveillance video from that day. This is from TV station WITI-TV. Cell phone records showing they ended up at his home, and she was never seen or heard from again. The next day, someone found a severed leg in a nearby park. The accused, Mr. Anderson, is accused of murdering her, dismembering her, and scattering her remains over different parts of Milwaukee. Now, Sade Robinson's mother is distraught, as you can imagine, over her beautiful daughter's death.
Sick son of a is gonna pay. This is justice for Sade. Who the would do something like this to my beautiful baby? She hurt nobody.
Again, Maxwell Anderson is the accused, set to be tried in just a couple of months from now. But will investigators have brought Sade home by that time? All of her body has still not been brought back home. Will her family get any closure? Will they be able to give her a proper funeral? This is just awful. Let's bring in our guest now. I'm so pleased to have with me family law attorney Jennifer Brandt and private investigator, his company Black Ops Private Investigations, Manuel Gomez. Ooh, I know your hearts break for the Robinson family. Not only have they lost their beautiful daughter, but can't even give her a proper burial as investigators are still working to find her. Jennifer, let me begin with you, please. Thinking about the advocacy and what can be done for this family. We see her mom calling for the statewide task force. Share with us, please, your thoughts on anything that they can possibly do or could be done for them and for Sade?
Well, for sure. I mean, first and foremost is to try to locate her body and her body parts, which are scattered all over. It's sickening when you think about it. I mean, to have your beautiful daughter, young girl, 19 years old, just starting her life, and then to have something so horrific happen to her and not even be able to give her a proper burial. So I think her body parts, they are recovering them slowly, but I think there needs to be some greater action for that. I also know that there was some talk of a memorial service for her, just because they can't have a proper funeral for her. They don't have an intact body. And these are things that should be done. It's horrible to think that there are people out there like this who could do such a thing. I mean, this guy, if he's guilty and he did commit these crimes, I mean, he should really just be put away forever, because just the thought of someone like that out there doing these types of things to someone who was innocent, it was a first date. It's horrific.
Right, it really is. His home was really questionable, too. There were reports swirling that this guy had a sex dungeon in his basement, that investigators found blood all over the walls. I don't know who lives in a house with blood on the walls, but investigators say apparently Maxwell Anderson did. Manuel Gomez, I would love to get your thoughts on the accused here and also the search for Sade's body.
First of all, I want to say thank God a monster is in jail. This guy is another classic Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. Maxwell Anderson methodically chose dismemberment. That is a killing that takes knowledge, time, and is personal. The fact that he had other little mementos from which I'm going to say allegedly are his other victims that he's killed, because they found girls' ID were 27 years old. They found other women's female products, mirrors, cases, clothes that were hidden in the beams in his dungeon of torture, okay? This guy is a menace to the world, and I'm glad they got him. Unfortunately, I feel there's going to be numerous bodies, just like with Dahmer, just like with Bundy. He has all the indicators that he's exactly that.
Love everything you're saying, Manuel. Thank you for that. And, people are thinking this with him. I have a clip I want to play for you both next. This is from April Bentley. She's the founder of a nonprofit called Rubies that specializes in awareness and prevention of sex trafficking. And according to her, she says Mr. Anderson was looking for young women just like Sade Robinson.
This case in particular just, I guess it caused so much emotions to rise to the surface for all the girls that are missing, and how he was a troller. He trolled the bars, he trolled the internet, he trolled the neighborhoods, and he was looking for girls like Sade. And he found one, if not many.
And I think another thing that's so sad is Sade Robinson did everything right. She told people where she was going. She told people who she was meeting. She told a friend, I'll check in with you when I'm back home. I'll text you. It wasn't like this young woman didn't want to be safe. She did. Manuel, is there any advice you can give to all of us? Anything we can possibly learn from Sade's story?
Well, the first thing I would say is, one, go with your instincts. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Second, take your time. Get to know somebody. Just don't go out. Talk to them. Talk to them for a few days. I have a lot of people that go missing, and that's because they get on these Tinders, or they get on these Bumble sites, and they meet somebody real quick, or they go to a bar for 5 minutes, and next thing you know, they're leaving with them. No, you got to know your self-worth. Please, if you're lonely, you know what, get a friend, but don't go out there and start disappearing with people and go into their home on the first date, because you never know what you're doing is playing Russian roulette with your life.
Manuel Gomez, thank you so much for that. Black Ops Private Investigators is your business. Attorney Jennifer Brandt, thank you both so much for your time and your expertise this morning. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you both soon. And as we head to break, we want to keep remembering the victim in this case, Sade Robinson. 19 years old, she was a college student, and guess what? She wanted to work in the area of criminal justice. She was taking classes in criminal justice, and her friends and her family have been honoring Sade by wearing her favorite color, which was pink. And we're going to keep honoring her here on Opening Statements by following her case every step of the way and fighting for justice. We'll be right back.
Grieving widow or mastermind behind a murder.
Monica Cimentelli is accused of plotting to kill her husband.
Famed celebrity hairstylist Fabio Cimentelli.
Prosecutors say she and her lover killed Fabio to collect a big life insurance policy.
The defense may say she's a bad woman, but she wouldn't be involved in a murder.
It's a whodunit Hollywood story, but will there be a twist that no one sees?
The celebrity stylist murder trial, today, only on Court TV.
Now for what's tipping the scales of justice, Court TV has obtained some new video connected to the shooting of a Kentucky judge. Former Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Stines was arrested last year after he fatally shot his friend and colleague, District Judge Kevin Mullins. The shooting happening in the judge's chambers, as you can see here. A motive still unclear, but now we have video of the events before and after the shooting that may shed some light on this strange case. In the first video, take a look. You see the judge, the sheriff, and some other men all meeting in the judge's chambers. Everything seems fine and good. Looks like the judge is even having a cigarette there. In the next video, you see the group together walking back to the courthouse. There's the sheriff leading the group. They went to eat lunch together. Nothing appears to be wrong here. Nice sunny day outside. Now at this point, the shooting has taken place. Look at this. You're going to see the sheriff walking very calmly out of the courthouse. Others kind of are rushing in to respond to the shooting, and he is cool as a cucumber coming on out. Now, police body camera footage picked up some of what he was saying to the officers afterward. Take a listen.
Can we loosen this up a little or give the window down? I'm sorry? Can we loosen this up a little? Be fair to me, man.
I got some air. I'll crack the window for you, but I can turn the air on back here. Okay?
Yeah. Be fair to me now.
I promise, man. Yeah, I promise.
God, please.
I promise.
It's hot back here, man. I can't breathe.
More questions than answers in this case, certainly. And remember how it came out at the preliminary hearing that there was some connection and definitively cell phone communication going on with the sheriff's minor child, his daughter, and the judge. We don't know much more than that, but of course there's been an awful lot of speculation here. What would cause this when they're out to lunch and they're good buddies? And then he shoots him at very close range in his chambers and walks out calmly. Let's bring in New York and New Jersey criminal defense attorney Mario Gallucci to weigh in on this. Mario, the sheriff should call you up to Pro Hoc in down there in Kentucky on this one. Let's start with the videos, and then I want to get to your trial strategy. So, knowing these videos are going to come on in, I'm curious what you were thinking as you were watching some of these.
So there's a lot going on in these videos. They're very calm in the back. You notice that the judge is relaxed. He's surrounded by people, and so relaxed. He's actually having a cigarette. You see the sheriff's officer in the back having a cup of coffee. You see Officer Sheriff Stein is relaxed, and then they go to lunch together and they come back. There's a lot more that we're going to see come out of this. You have to remember that about 2 years ago, all of the people involved in this were involved in a sextortion case, which led to the conviction of one of the sheriff's officers. And Sheriff Stein, as well as the judge, were implicated in some shape or manner in that sextortion case. They said that they used the judge's chambers as a brothel. Judge Mullins' chambers were used as a brothel, that Officer Stein did not train the other officer in the correct way and allowed these things to go on. At a deposition, the attorney for the civil, the woman that was extorted, testified that Mullins knew all about this. So, and now you put that together with these communications with the judge and the minor daughter of Stein, and you got to say to yourself that there's something more that goes on. You just do not see somebody this calmly walk in and point blank range just kill somebody, and then calm, cool, and collective walks out. We see him in the back of the car reaching out to his fellow officers saying, treat me fairly, just treat me fairly. You know, I'm hot back here. I'm not going anywhere. There's more to this case. I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what's going to come out.
Oh, I know, Mario. I know. This is one of those, as you know, has more questions than it does answers right now. And we know there's so much more that's not being said, including the lead up to the shooting, right? Which this kind of leads us into my questions to you regarding trial strategy. We understand that the sheriff may have used the judge's phone to call his daughter. Seems that he realized the daughter's information was in the judge's cell phone. Don't know why. The child's a minor. And we know after the shooting happened, the sheriff made some statements about protecting his family when he was taken into custody. He supposedly made another comment that they were trying to kidnap, whoever they is, they're trying to kidnap my wife and kid. So he made some concerning statements, as you know, Mario, after the fact. I'm curious, if you're representing him, are you looking forward to taking this one to trial and getting all the dirty laundry, so to speak, out?
So it's very difficult in a criminal case to blame a victim. But as a criminal defense attorney, you try to do that as often as you possibly can. You try to, Mario Gallucci doesn't believe that there's any rules of evidence in a courtroom until somebody tells you to stop. So I would try my best to find out what was going on between the judge and Officer Stein's family. Once I was able to flesh that out, I would do my best to get that out before a jury and maybe garner some sympathy. But without having all of the information yet, it's very difficult to make a determination on whether you want to go to trial. If the information is lacking, that there is any relationship between this judge and Officer Stein's family, it's going to be very difficult to get a sympathetic jury. If, on the other hand, if you find that there's some sort of relationship between the judge and Officer Stein's family, and you're able to get this out before a jury, and you pick a good jury, and you may be able to get some sympathy from all you need is one. You need one juror to say, you know what, I'm sympathetic to this, and this I'm saying not guilty.
Right, Mario, exactly. And you said it so perfectly. I guess the bottom line kind of becomes whether the judge was a bad actor. We don't know. Maybe more will come out. We have no idea. So not victim blaming on this show at all. We're just wondering if information does exist and evidence supports he was acting badly and the sheriff kind of took the law into his own hands, you may roll the dice with a jury, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's looking at a significant jail term. If you're able to pull that off, you could miraculously pull him out of this.
Right. Yeah, this is such a puzzling case. As we get more information, I can't wait to have you back on the show, Mario. We'll talk more about it. We have to say goodbye. Mario Gallucci, wonderful seeing you on this Friday. Come back soon, please. Thanks for everything.